Janet Jackson, she sings about control, but some people in her circle worry that she's handing hers over to someone else. As the fallout from her comments about VP Kamala Harris continues, insiders are pointing fingers at her own family. We have our senior reporter, Carlos Greer, here, and he's got some exclusive details on this story. Now, can you tell us exactly what happened and what you've heard from close sources?
Well, you've read the headline. Janet really put her foot in her mouth. She gave an interview to The Guardian where she peddled in conspiracy theories about Vice President Kamala Harris's race. The interviewer asked her how did she feel about America potentially electing their very first black female president. And Janet responded that she heard that she wasn't black. And she continued and said that she heard that her father was white. Now, we know that Vice President Kamala Harris's dad is from Jamaica. Her mom is Indian. And so Janet really upset a lot of people. And this isn't how we're used to hearing Janet Jackson speak or reading quotes from Janet Jackson. So a lot of people were very upset because this is a pop star who actually sings about social issues like racism and homophobia and female empowerment. So this was a quote from Janet that nobody was expecting to read.
Absolutely. Now, I know the last time Janet created this level of attention was 20 years ago at the Super Bowl with Nipplegate. Do you think that she's going to be able to recover from this latest nightmare?
Well, you know, time will tell, but you have to keep in mind 20 years ago, you didn't have social media. And so now everyone is weighing in, and they're weighing in on a very important election season. And again, so everyone has a comment, everyone's talking about it. And she hasn't responded yet. I mean, she responded via a rep, but, you know, time will tell how this is going to affect her. But some people fear that this is worse than Nipplegate, and there's already been a lot of backlash and fallout from it.
My goodness. Now, who is Mo El Masri, and why did he issue an apology on her behalf?
So Mo El Masri, he claimed to be Janet Jackson's manager, and he got ahead of this once that interview published, and he issued an apology to another outlet. And what was interesting about the outlet that he chose, it's not typically an outlet that someone of Janet Jackson's stature would release her first statement to. And so her rep, they actually walked back the apology. The statement was her apologizing about what she said about Kamala Harris. But it turns out he doesn't even work for Janet Jackson, or at least that's what their rep is claiming. I spoke to multiple sources who told me that no one in her camp knows who he is, that they've never even heard his name. But this isn't the first time that he's claimed that he's Janet's manager. In fact, in August, he is the one who announced her upcoming Las Vegas residency. Now, her rep, it was an unofficial announcement, but her rep did release an official announcement about the Vegas residency with pictures and all of that. And interestingly, they didn't dispute, they didn't even acknowledge who this guy was back then. They didn't release a statement saying that he's not associated with Janet, but they were emphatic this time around, saying that they have no idea who this guy is and he does not work with her in any capacity.
My goodness.
And he actually claimed, he alleged that Janet and Randy fired him after he released that statement about Kamala Harris. But Astrid, another person told me that they also don't know who he is, never heard his name, but they believe that Janet's brother, Randy, brought him on.
So I know that you were saying that insiders have been pointing fingers at Randy. What's his involvement in this?
So Randy is, of course, Janet's older brother. He's also the youngest brother of the Jacksons. Janet's the youngest Jackson, but they're close in age, so they're extremely close. But he's been managing Janet for several years now, and a lot of people are perplexed as to why she hired him as her manager, because Randy hasn't had the success of his brothers, and obviously has not had the success of Michael and Janet. So there is this attitude that he's too inexperienced to manage a career of an artist like Janet Jackson. And so everyone's looking at this, or some people are looking at this as if it's his screw up, because this incident was a PR nightmare for Janet Jackson. And as you mentioned, we've never seen her in the headlines like this since the Super Bowl 20 years ago. She usually has a very pristine operation. And so a lot of people are scratching their heads and pointing their fingers at Randy.
Right, and she's been laying under the radar for a while too. Now, have Janet or Randy commented on this?
Well, like I told you, Janet has not commented. Randy hasn't either. I don't expect them to. They experienced a very tragic loss last week, so I don't think that this is something that they're overly concerned with right now, because they are mourning their brother Tito, who passed away last week. And so I'm sure that's what they're focusing on getting through that.
I can understand that as well. Well, we'll keep you updated with the latest over at page6.com. Thank you, Carlos.
Yep, good to see you.